welcome back to another video. It is December 1st, okay? That means winter is here, even though technically winter doesn't start until December 21st, I believe. But I don't know. It is 14 degrees here in Illinois and I feel it. It's cold. I need to take out the turtlenecks. I need to take out the long sleeve shirts. I gotta take out my pants, the long johns, the socks, the boots, because it's cold, okay? Winter came in with a vengeance. But I really wanted to talk about like when December and like January are here and it's winter, how we're feeling and what sometimes the winter can bring to our emotions. And especially as a creative or an artist or someone that's not a creative. And I really do believe that this is the moment where we can either indulge in the negativity of the darker months of the year, or we can go into the positive ways and perspective of what this month and what this winter can bring. But I get it. December can be a little dull. January can be very dull. Especially if you live in a state that snows and gets the worst of the weather for these months. I get it. But I think this is a moment for us to kind of look at the animals. And what I mean by that is in the wintertime, they hibernate. The birds, they fly south to a warmer place. The trees, the leaves are all gone and the trees are soaking up their own selves for the next season where they can bloom again. And this is a time where we should do that. I think December should call for refocusing ourselves, recommitting to ourselves, and also resetting for the next year, for the next grace that we're going to need to operate in that next year. And if we look at it in that more positive and that more uplifting way, it's going to help us to get to the spring quicker. At least mentally, spring will be here in January, basically, if we think that way. And especially in this time, I really do feel like we need to rest, y'all. Rest. If you can. Now, rest is in two ways. Definitely through your body, but there's another rest that I feel like for your spirit and your soul. There is so much that's going on in this world right now, and I do not even blame you if sometimes you look out into it and you're like, man, what in the world is going on? Like, where do I live right now? But I really do believe that if you take some time to sit down and really think about how you have made it, how you are still here, how God has kept you through all that you've been through, then let that be the fuel that you need to go forward. For me, as a creative, I really do love being inspired. Inspiration really is a driver for why I can create and to do things. However, inspiration is not always free-flowing and it doesn't always come easy. So that's why I feel like what I'm looking at, what I'm listening to in this time really does matter, because that all affects what I'm going to be inspired by or what's going to, fuel me. So as for me with creative inspiration during these darker winter months, I really do feel like it comes with first stopping, slowing down, and sitting down somewhere. Like our parents used to say, stop all that ripping and running. Like, for real, it makes sense because I really do feel like rest and even boredom is very powerful. Think about your artistic process. You are not always creating and doing. There are certain moments where you are sitting back and making ideas and thinking about them, thinking about your world, and then you go into it. I really do feel like that is something that keeps me inspired, is definitely going to sleep physically, but also taking some pressure off of my mind. Another way that I feel like we could stay creatively inspired during these months is to turn social media off. Turn it off for a little bit. If you need it on because of your business or whatever you're doing, I get it, because I definitely use it as a business tool. But y'all, listen, that social media can drown you. It can sometimes be just so much, and then you're mindlessly scrolling and all this stuff is just getting into your subconscious. You're thinking about things that you would never think about because you saw this on TikTok or Instagram, and now that is something that is taking space in your mind that was never there. And I really do feel like mindfulness is the driving force as to why we would take social media breaks or just get off for a while, because we got to get back into our natural state of operating as a human. And social media is something that is very new, and it's something that is actually unnatural. Think about people in the 70s or the 60s. They would look at us and be like, what? You tell me you're looking at your phone all day? Like, you're scrolling, and what's on there? What's so intriguing? Like, what? Go get a newspaper, go get a magazine, go to the park. You know? So a part of me feels like to be creatively inspired, you sometimes have to shut it off so that your mind can breathe. And that goes along with that resting. Let your mind breathe, y'all. We need it. We so need it. So yeah, those are the two major things that I would say that can keep you creatively inspired during the winter. Because even though it's not super technical, and I'm not telling you to be like, go and make a whole, you know, sketchbook of things, like go and do and go and do and go and do and go and do. It's opposing that. It's more so like, let's pace ourselves. Let's step back, because this is where the best ideas for the new year is going to happen. And this is where I feel like I'm going to get my creative edge, because I wasn't just producing like a machine. I was really taking some time for that machine to cool off. Because think about it. Has your phone ever overheated, or has the dryer overheated? Has whatever machine in your life have you seen physically? Have you seen it when it's just been too hot? What are you gonna do? You're gonna turn it off so it can rest and cool off, so that it can operate at its best self, you know? But there are moments where after you feel like you have rested, because the length and period of time where you feel like you have done that and it's completed is up to you. It may be a week, it may be the whole December, January. It may be just 3 weeks where you feel like, you know what, I'm going to shut everything off, or I'm going to really focus on the priorities in my life, maybe family, taking care of my health, and, you know, sitting down somewhere. And maybe that is, you know, not a whole 4 months, you know? So it does depend on your capacity, and it does depend on how long you feel like it should be. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much. This was my little TED Talk for today. If you watched it today on December 1st, I appreciate you. If you didn't, I appreciate you as well. There's no love lost. But guys, let's just be mindful. This is a new opportunity for us. It's going to be great, and life really is what you make it. I have been learning that. I know I heard it so much as a child growing up. But life truly is what you make it. And I know there are certain situations in our lives that happen to hurt us. There's been so many for me that I can definitely, just thank God for, because it was only Him that got me through it. But we will get through it. You've gotten this far already. So let's go. Let's make those goals happen, definitely for the next year. But before we do that, before we start working ourselves, let's sit back and reset. But I appreciate y'all so much, and I will see you on the next diary entry.